I recently sat down with Bev Wylie, a resilience and mindset coach who works with golfers, leaders, and teams both on and off the course. Through her practice, Bev helps people perform well under pressure, whether it's in sport, business, or in their lives. She's in the middle of launching a new golfing brand that's performance-driven but also fashionable, helping to bring style, function, and confidence back onto the course. All right, Bevs, so you left the corporate world pretty broken with stress-related health issues. What was the moment you knew you had to walk, and what changed the day that you did?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had to really, because my body was starting to give me all the signs of something being wrong. I had like tinnitus in my right ear. I was having dizzy spells, anxiety even. Like I'd never suffered from anxiety in my life before. And I kept going back to the doctor and like trying to find out like what was wrong as such. And they literally couldn't find anything other than I had a little bit of vertigo, like the crystals had moved in my ear. But other than that, she eventually said, "Are you under any form of stress?" And then I just like bawled my eyes out and I couldn't stop. And I thought, okay, something needs to change. So that was really you need to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. And then once you did change, tell me what happened from that. Like, did all those symptoms go away?
I mean, it took a while, to be honest, and I didn't get out straight away either. So it was a bit of a long-winded one. I did resign, obviously, but it took a long time to get out of the situation I was in. I was actually on the trade license as a favour, basically. And I know people will think, "Oh, why would you do that?" But I'd been working for the family for a long time. And actually my previous boss, who I came over to work for, he had been on the trade license prior to me. And it was fine, honestly. It was fine before, but unfortunately the owner passed away, and it was at that point that things got really messy, which was actually the cause of all my stress. The actual job itself was fine. I mean, it was normal stress that you have running a company, but not enough to get you sick. Right. So it was actually the complications that came from being on the trade license after the owner had passed away. So yeah, it got a little bit messy.
I'm glad that you managed to get out of that, though.
Yeah, thanks. It took a while, but yeah, when I finally did leave, 3 years later, no joke.
Took a while.
Yeah, it's the longest resignation period in history, I think. Yeah. But yeah, I left and I went to Thailand to do my yoga teacher training. Honestly, with no kind of vision that I wanted to be a yoga teacher, but it was more about just getting my health back. So like when you said like how long did it take, that was a huge part of my healing journey. Just spending that time on myself. I mean, I'd never been able to get that amount of time off before. And I'd worked for them for a long time. So even when I was traveling, you know, I was constantly on my phone or I had my laptop. I mean, I don't remember the last time prior to that I'd actually completely switched off. Wow. So yeah, it was pretty life-changing, to be honest.
Yeah. And so you went, obviously, you mentioned to this yoga training in Thailand, and then you came back and walked into DED Cafe and started your business, right? Like
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I had done a lot of other things like on the side while I was still working, like my weekends. I was going to like Reiki and sound healing and all those things. And again, looking back now, I don't even really know why I was doing the certificates. I mean, there must have been something channeling me down that route, because I just thought it's helping my stress levels. It's helping keeping my nervous system, calm.
Right. It's beneficial.
And yeah, it was helping me. And yeah, I guess I just saw like, you can actually be qualified. So I was doing that all at the same time as working, like on my weekends. So when I came back from Thailand, I thought, right, I do not want to work for anybody again. And I need to do something to help other people. Like I genuinely felt, without sounding too like woo-woo, I genuinely felt like this is what I'm meant to be doing, because there's so much before that has happened to me that I've got myself out of. So I really feel like it's the story of like resilience, and that is why I call myself a Mindshift and Resilience Mentor. I am obviously qualified. I'm a holistic life coach and a mind-body practitioner. So before I had those, though, I took the certificates, like you said, to the DED Cafe just to say, what kind of license can you give me? I don't want to be restricted in travel. I don't want to be restricted like where I have to work. Like I don't want to have to work in a studio. I didn't want to teach yoga. I wanted to do more corporate wellness and also one-on-ones. And that's why I continued to develop and did my holistic life coaching and the mind body stuff, which is really good.
Was there a reason why you didn't want to go down like the traditional yoga route and instead focus on the corporate side of things?
I just genuinely just did the yoga training for me, for my health, without meaning to sound selfish. I needed to get my health back on track. And I just thought it was the only way that really was like deep diving into, like, yoga is so much more than an exercise. You know, there's the course itself is so deep, and there was a lot of people there like releasing trauma that they've had for years, including myself, you know. And I just never, it's not something that I feel called to do. I do have a couple of one-on-one clients, so it's not that I don't enjoy it, but it's not something that I've ever pushed myself out there as. It was really just to get myself back on track and be able to be fit and healthy enough, mind and body, to go out and be able to work at all again. Because at that point, before I went, I was pretty broken, to be honest.
Yeah. And why corporate versus an individual then? Like, was there something that called you to work with corporates?
I mean, I do both. So, and that's part of like the changeover from my company name to being myself. But the corporates really was just from feeling like I had no support in the situation that I was in. And okay, yeah, I was on the trade license, but I even think back to my team at the time, like we didn't have anything and we didn't have any support. We didn't have anything from the top coming down, you know, like we would do like nights out or like dinners or lunches or something, you know, but they would only be a couple of times a year. And yeah, that is partly down to me. So it's probably a lesson that I've come away with. But as a corporation, like we weren't looked after at all. And I think it's a huge missing part.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the corporate world, yeah.
And it's something that I'm sure, you saw that was a gap that, you know, if you had that, maybe that you wouldn't have had this, you know, I guess traumatic time for 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, trying to avoid other people going down that same route.
Yeah. And I think people need support, like in all levels. It doesn't need to be management, but in every single department. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So after 3 years under Wellness When You Need, you mentioned that you now work as Bev Wylie. So why make that shift from a brand name to your own name? And what are the pros and cons in doing that?
Good question. So I did work under Wellness When You Need for 3 years, which was the full visa that I was given at the time. Prior to the 3-year ending, I just wasn't getting enough traffic from my website. And I went to my website guy and basically said, look, there's not enough business coming from here. All my business was coming from Instagram, which I was doing myself, and I still do myself. And I have no problem with that. I love it. Like, I mean, it is a task, as we all know, but like, I feel like you're the one that's connecting with the people. Right. So I do think it's good to do it yourself if you've got the time. But yeah, so it really just came from that meeting. He asked me to come in. We had a look at the website. We went back to basics and said, like, okay, who's your ideal client? And my website wasn't saying who my ideal client was. But because I've evolved as well, like I said, I hadn't done my holistic life coaching at the time when I first set the business up. So that's something that I really want to focus on more. And the mind-body practitionership, which is fascinating, like literally using like rewiring your brain, so neuroplasticity. So I can work with people whether they have like a pain issue or it's just a mental block on things. There's so many ways you can use it. And again, I think that's a really good tool to use, that people can actually use it on themselves just with a little bit of guidance.
Right.
So I basically, he said to me, I think you need a rebrand. And I was like, no, please don't make me do this. Yeah, from the beginning. So I contacted Kelly Lundberg, who you'll probably know from Instagram. She's a brand strategist. And I just said, look, this is the message I've been given. I don't even know if I do need a rebrand, but if I do, then obviously I would want to work with you. So she said, come up to the office, let's have a chat. So we spent about an hour and a half or something together, went through everything. And her message to me was, I do not think you need a rebrand. I think you need to be the brand.
Yes.
So she said, you know, you've got a personality, like fun, bubbly, and also you've got like the emotional side, like that I'm an empath and, you know, I've been through a lot of stuff myself and got myself out of it. And she said, I really think that as a package is something that you really need to work on and work with. So be yourself. So
absolutely.
That was it. So
put your name on it.
BevWylie.com is the new brand. Yeah.
I love that. Well, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
the rebrand. I'm hearing this a lot more now, that there are too many coaches in Dubai And to be honest, I feel like that resonates with a lot of us. We hear,
Sure.
you know, there's tons of them out there. What's something that people get wrong about coaching, and how do people spot like who's a good coach and who isn't?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. A part of that as well. There are a lot of coaches right now, and I think actually even the DED Cafe stopped allowing the licenses for them at some point, like the freelancers or something. I can't remember. I heard it through the grapevine. But yeah, I mean, there are coaches, but I think there are genuinely good coaches out there. And for me, I just think you need to have a few things, like obviously authenticity. You need to see that they've got some sort of exposure, that they're out there. They've had life experience as well. I mean, no disrespect to a 25-year-old, but you can't really brand yourself as a life coach at 25. I mean, I had been through some shit at 25, I won't lie, but I don't think I'd had enough life experience to help other people. Whereas now, you know, in the last year of my 40s, I feel that I have got the life experience. There's been a few holes that I've dug myself out of from childhood right up until now. And I think that's a real important lesson, or lessons in duplicate, that, you know, you can help people with coming from your own story and coming through the other side.
Exactly. Yeah, the fact that you've actually overcome these obstacles, right?
Yeah.
And made something good happen from it.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like even with the yoga teacher training, as much as I don't teach, although I'm qualified, like I've no interest in doing group sessions or anything. I mean, I do host retreats, so like I do put it in with that because I love like yin yoga and sound healing together. I think it's a really good mix, and I still do them now, but I don't like put myself out in a studio and teach 20 people like vinyasa, for example.
Right.
Like, it's not me, you know. But yeah, I think it's just a good way to like you know, share with people and help people along their way.
Yeah. So can you explain, I mean, you obviously said like what you don't do, like what do you do? If I was to look at the Bev Wylie website now, can you just give a summary as to what you currently offer?
Well, you know, coming away from Wellness We Need, where I did offer absolutely everything, like, you know, I did have yoga on there just privately, but not groups, but like I had yoga, sound healing, Reiki, like coaching, everything. Like it's just too much stuff and not busy enough at any of them, I'll be honest. And that is why this niche of coming into myself is basically how it's working, and it's definitely improved. So it's about becoming more niche. So there's basically three things that I'm offering. So it's the one-on-one mentorship, and then there is the corporate wellness, which I'm still happy and very passionate about. And the third thing is I do retreats internationally, both with golf and wellness combined. So they're not as often because obviously I'm busy and I have to be here, but I do like to put maybe 2 or 3 in a year in my calendar.
I want to touch on the golf topic because I think this is something that you do that really sets you apart, and it's this conversations on the course. It's this mind shift mentoring that happens on the golf course. Why do you think that setting works so well?
Oh, honestly, this is a genuine story of, you know, when you're on the golf course, it's so good for networking. Like it really has helped my business. And you'll come off of the green, maybe you'll be in different carts, but like when you come off the green and, you know, maybe someone say, oh, what is it you do, Bev? So you start telling them, you know, and my old pitch was obviously I've got my own holistic wellness business. And so now it's changed to, you know, I'm a Mindshift and Resilience Mentor and what that means. And yeah, like they do come out and say, oh, well, you know, how did you get into that? And I tell them a bit about my personal story. And then they just come away with all this stuff, like genuinely from the heart. Like, I'm suffering from anxiety. I've got a narcissistic boss. These are all recent comments I've had, by the way, not ones I'm making up.
Right.
People are having panic attacks, and it's a lot of it is men. And they don't open up, or they don't find it as easy as women do. Like we'll share most things, I think, most of us. I'm an open book, like I'm a crier. I don't hide it. It's not a problem. But yeah, and I just kind of thought there's such a gap in the market here for that. Like, and genuinely wanting to help people, because at the end of the day, like I'm a member of a golf club. So if someone's coming and they aren't a member, then they're automatically getting like a massive discount to play. Right. So it's not all about money, you know, like it's not saying, obviously I have to earn a living, I have my rent to pay, but it's having that position where someone, maybe it might be their golf mindset, maybe they're struggling with like the way they speak to themselves on the course, and it does affect your game and that affects your handicap. And any golfer will tell you all they want is a lower handicap,
Absolutely.
So there's that part. And then obviously people have got personal or professional things going on that they maybe don't feel comfortable talking about in any other circumstance. But if you're sitting in a golf cart with people and you're just chilling, and you can even have the music on if you want, it just makes people feel relaxed, but it's not having that, sitting across the desk from each other feel, or on a Zoom or
therapy couch,
Yeah, exactly,
where you feel like you're already, it's more comfortable to be in an element where I'm playing golf, but then you can open up.
But you're just free, you're driving around and you're just freely speaking, and it's not like in your face. And then, that sometimes that happens where people go, I really enjoyed that, Bev. I'd like to have a couple more sessions just to go through a few things, and I'm all for it as quickly as possible. I don't sign people up for a long time, and it's not what I want to be known for. I want to make an impact in short space as possible. And that's what's happening, because then we can sit in the clubhouse and have a coffee. That's what I do anyway with the conversations on the course. It is part of the package. So we'll sit and have a chat, and I can share some tools that they can use to take home, or I can email them some worksheets later that might help them with goal setting or habit trackers, or depending what, obviously everyone's individual, but there's so many ways to help people. And then if they say like, I wouldn't mind just having a couple of Zoom calls with you, because once you've had that broken the barrier part, they're more comfortable being on a Zoom with you. But for that first session, to have the conversations on the course, I think is really cool.
Yeah. Do you have anyone like absolutely cracking it? Like, their golf is off that day and they're losing it, but then they're also like, oh, Bev's in the cart with me. Like, I shouldn't lose it too much. Like,
I mean, we do have some jokes like around, and I just could be like, that's not allowed. No tantrums allowed. And they're like, oh yeah. And it's happened before. Like even when I wasn't working as such, I was at a different golf club, and I was with a business group.
Right.
And there was one guy, he was literally like ready to throw his club, and I was like, no, that is not on. Like that is not okay, And I had a word with him, and I was like, look, you're a good player. Like, why are you letting it get you like that? You've still got, I think, 8 or 9 holes to play. You can literally turn your game around. Yeah. Anyway, he was like amazing after that. Like, and I think he won a prize as well. And I was like, damn.
You just reframed it. You're like, I'm that good. You should turn to pros.
Why am I off shift today?
That's amazing. So I would love to know, talking about like that person that was on the course and losing it, can you give me one simple tool or concept that you can use with clients to interrupt a stress spiral? I think there's a lot of us that, we can get ourselves really worked up in the moment.
Yeah.
Is there something that, if somebody's listening to this right now, is there something that they could try instantly to try to break that spiral?
Definitely. And I honestly think breath work is so undervalued and so underrated. Obviously, we're like breathing to stay alive, but there's so many times that can come into like play. I mean, it's happened to me before. I've had anxiety attacks driving on Shakeside Road when I was going through all that horrible time, like 4 years ago probably. And I had to stop driving for a while, but I coped because I knew how to breathe properly. And when I say breathe properly, like using the yogi breathing. So you would basically, for anyone that's listening, like the easiest way to do it if you're not used to it is having your hand on your belly. And when you breathe in, really try and like inhale and push your belly out like a big balloon. And then when you exhale, like contract your tummy back in, and try and get that exhale much longer than the inhale, because that's expelling all the toxic air and it's increasing your oxygen levels, and it automatically calms the nervous system as well. So it activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Yeah.
I love
it's
that.
It's a game changer in any circumstance. Like if you're a bit stressed, or, if you're going in for an interview, you're going to speak to people, if you're driving, any situation where you're just like wired, you can literally just change it. I've been in a golf cart with a guy that was almost ready to have a panic attack, and he was really scared because he had one the previous week, and he was like telling himself, I'm scared, I'm going to have another panic attack. And I was like, okay, hang on, this is what you need to do. And it takes a while to get used to doing the belly breathing, it does. But once you get into it, and like, he was completely calm and he was fine, because it's, there's a lot of people out there struggling with that kind of stuff.
That's really great advice. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So you run workshops for corporate groups, and you now have a really exciting collaboration with the J.A. Hatter Fort Hotel.
Yes.
For away days and corporate wellness weekends. How do you prove ROI to a company after one of these days, and what do you measure?
I mean, to be honest, for those one-off, it's hard for me to know. Like, if I don't work with them, like if they sign up with me to go in like every quarter or something, then obviously we can monitor it properly. But for one of those days, like genuinely, they'll just come away and they'll say, obviously, the morale's increased and the productivity's increased. You know, for the first few days, if they go straight back into the office, like they'll see that themselves. You know, there's loads of studies out there. To be honest, the recent one I read was from Bupa. UAE, and you know, productivity was increased by this is in general, and the UAE was like 56% or something. And absenteeism was around about the 30% mark, reduced absenteeism.
Wow.
And then I think the turnover of staff had reduced to high 20%. Yeah. It definitely has an impact if they have an ongoing thing. And you know, this isn't just doing like a random yoga class or, you know, random sound healing.
Ticking a box.
Yeah, exactly.
Wellness,
and it happens too often, you know. This is like, if they get down to basics and actually calm people's nervous system, like that is so important, because there's so many people are like literally wired. People are so under so much pressure. People work crazy hours. You know how it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if they go down from the basics and just work on like calming people's nervous system, and then also just using different workshops, like how you can rewire your brain, how you can reword things. There's so many ways to do it, and they can take that away and use it in their family lives as well. So it's a ripple effect. Everybody's happier, everybody's healthier.
And also in their workplaces too. They're having a
100%.
stressful, you know, they've got a pitch. It's like beforehand, you've given them some tools to
definitely,
to improve like their productivity, like you said.
Yeah.
So you still host international retreats, right?
I do, yeah.
You have one planned in Scotland with an optional golf element, of course, the home of golf. Who is that for, and what transformation should they expect when they leave?
As in, who would want to go, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Who should do this, Bev?
I mean, you don't have to be a golfer. It just so happens that the resort that I'm collaborating with, they have a golf course on site.
Right.
And obviously I'm a passionate golfer. So, and I meet a lot of golfers through my work. So it's just kind of out there, but you know, you don't have to be a golfer. It's open to anyone. If someone wanted to go as a couple and like the female or the male, because it's not all males that golf, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, they can go off and they can do the golf, and there can be some free time for like spas or whatever. But in general, for anyone that wants to go, I generally do 5-star retreats. Like, so it's always 5-star hotels. It's not yoga retreats, so it's more like an executive getaway.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you'll have obviously workshops. There will be some form of wellness included, obviously, but it's a whole experience of, you know, wherever we are, you'll go and see a little bit of the local community. You'll see, you know, different sites and have a whole kind of tourist experience, as well as having that beauty of just getting away and switching off, and, you know, like doing things that I do for the corporate world, you know, like the Mindshift stuff, and, you know, calming the nervous system and all the other stuff. But it's also like eating different foods and, you know, trying different things, and just it's like a whole
holistic,
experience. Holistic experience. Yeah.
That's incredible. God, it sounds like a dream trip, to be honest.
We haven't actually set the date yet, or I would say sign yourself up. But we're speaking again in October to plan the final dates.
That's very exciting. So now let's move on to golf clothes. So you've said that you couldn't find any golf clothes that actually fit well or looked good whilst you're on the course, and especially like they weren't made using cheap polyester. And I've definitely experienced that, by the way, as well.
Oh, really?
I took up golf during COVID for a brief period of time.
Yeah.
I also struggled. I struggled with outfits as well as struggling on the course, to be fair. But
we all do.
but you're launching your new brand. This is really exciting. So All the Gear Golf. What's the gap you're filling in the golf market, and what kind of partner are you looking to bring into the next chapter?
Thanks. I don't know if we would have time to speak about it, but I started playing golf around 5 years ago, and the biggest issue for me, apart from learning to play golf, like you said, was finding like decent clothes that fit well, that weren't polyester, and that were at least nice, that you don't mind wearing, you know. Some of the clothes I have that do fit reasonably well, I've literally had them from the start, and they probably do need a bit of a refresh. But I'm just wearing them because they're the only ones that I feel comfortable with, even though I wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable sitting, like being out in them. So my brand, All the Gear Golf, is it's open. It's men and women, so it's not just for women, because some people go, oh, it's only women you're doing. It's not. It's men and women, and really it's just to have some like bold and bright fun colors out there, some different prints, some funky stuff. So my first collection is a little bit of the home of golf, which is obviously Scotland, and a little bit of my UAE home, because I've been a resident here for 17 years. So the first collection is going to be a little bit tartan, some camels, like fun colours, fun prints.
I love that collaboration.
Like, they're really nice. And I think you've possibly seen one of my dresses.
I have, sneak peek.
We're in the pre-production sampling stage. So obviously I'm testing things out personally on and off the course. And I've literally had people come up to me in networking events, because I've been wearing it for networking events, because I'm like,
of course.
Marketing. So people have literally come up and gone. There was a girl that came up at a recent one, and she said, oh my God, I love your dress. Because she had seen me from the other side of the room. And that's what I want. I want people to be able to come from golf into the clubhouse, feeling confident. You know, you can stay for dinner and have a few drinks, and you don't want to feel like you're in some stuff that doesn't fit properly, or you don't like the colour, you don't like the shape. You know, you want to feel confident and comfortable.
Absolutely.
And, you know, there's a huge amount of networking that goes on, so in golf and around golf. So I want people to feel like bold and confident in the wear that they have, like whether it's, you know, the tartan, or whether it's just a colour that's a bit more you know,
it helps them stand out, and
100%.
It makes such a difference, like what you're wearing, like in terms of your confidence. And I can imagine it improves your golf game as well, because you're feeling better. You know? But like you said, like networking and making those connections is key. So
it is. So I'm really excited about it. So I'm currently looking for an angel investor, actually. So I have invested $100,000 of my own funds. I've been working with a global fashion consultancy. So we've done all the hard work. Everything's done. The tech pack is done. It's a complete learning curve for me, obviously. It's coming into the retail space, but we've done like 5-6 sampling rounds on different items. We've got 20 items that we're launching with. So like all the marketing plan, the social media plan, the business account, bank account is open, the business license is ready. So yeah, I'm looking for an angel investor to come in just to help me get into production on like a convertible note basis. So the idea will be that after 3 years that they can get equity of the business as well.
Incredible. And what's your vision for the brand?
It's definitely going to be global. I know we're going to be based here, and it'll be e-commerce predominantly, but I can see us being everywhere, like in golf clothing stores, in golf shops, even in department stores in the future. I've got huge plans, and it's going to expand, I believe, quite quickly as well. So super excited. I just want to get the first production done, the first collection out there, and then hopefully it'll speak for itself.
Absolutely. Well, number one, congratulations. I mean, you've got so many amazing and exciting things happening. And I'm very excited for you with this new golfing brand. If you're an investor out there, BevWylie.com is the way to contact you. And thank you so much for your time.
Thanks you for your time. Thank you so much. It's been real fun.
All right.
Thank you.